What's going on, everyone? So, per reports, the Los Angeles Lakers have reached out to the Portland Trailblazers about Robert Williams III. Now, he's a guy that's been linked to the Lakers for like over a year now, right? Lakers reached out last offseason about Robert Williams, and then also at the trade deadline, we're trying to get Robert Williams. Lakers are looking to trade for a starting center. So, like, the Lakers' plan appears to be trade for that clear-cut starting center, right? That it would be ideal, slot alongside Luka Doncic, and then go get that backup via a Brook Lopez, a Clint Capella, or whatever else is on the market, right? That's kind of the Lakers' idea here, which I think if the Lakers are going to get a real long-term starter, then you have to trade for it, right? There's just not those guys out on the free agency market, right? Maybe you go and get a Jericho Sims and he just takes off for the Lakers because he's playing alongside Luka and Luka makes him look amazing. But realistically speaking, you're probably not going to get that, right? Like the likelihood of that is probably very slim. But if you can go trade for a guy and then bring in that backup, perfect. I've also talked about, I don't hate if the Lakers kind of use the center position as a gap year and then go focus on that perimeter help, right? Can you get a Clint Capella and a Brook Lopez, slot those two in, and then go get an Andrew Wiggins in another wing, right? Like solve other needs. Because again, Lakers, I don't think need this super star center, at least right now. Because the best case scenario, that guy is only going to be the fourth option, right? Like realistically, because he's not going to be over Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. So yeah, when LeBron retires, and if they end up trading Reeves at some point, then yeah, maybe at that point you could use a skilled big, but worry about that when that happens. Worry about that when, 2-3 years from now, when that becomes a thing. But Robert Williams III is a guy that, makes a ton of sense for the Lakers. He's everything the Lakers need, an absolute wrecking ball on the inside, not shy, not afraid to bang with the big boys, right? He's not really a true 7-footer, but he's got the size and the wingspan that you'd be looking for. Rebounds, excellent. Offensive rebounds, can block shots, defend in space. He's excellent. I would love to have Robert Williams. However, I don't like the idea of Robert Williams as your starting center. And it's simply for the fact of he just can't stay healthy. The biggest knock on Robert Williams is he can't stay healthy, right? And so him as a backup would be perfect. Right? If you can get him as a backup, you do that all day long. He's 27 years old. He'll be 28 to start next season, but that's fine. You'd have him for still several seasons. But it's just, what is the cost? Like, what would you have to give up in order to get Robert Williams? Because if you can get Robert Williams and have him be your backup, then, like I said, that's perfect. He's making $13.2 million this season, so he's not on this like insane contract or anything like that. Like I said, $13.2 million. And he's going into unrestricted free agency. So Portland's going to have to make a decision. Like, they have like 5 bigs, is not counting like what they're going to draft in this year, right? So at some point, they're going to have to make decisions on this guy, right? Now, I've seen a lot of people want Ayton. Like, maybe you go get Ayton and a Robert Williams. Can you maybe pull something like that off, right? Because they're going to have to figure out what to do with Ayton as well. Right. So, and now Robert Williams is your backup. Like, that could be something that maybe the Lakers look to. It's like, hey, we'll take both guys off you. I don't know. I've talked about before, like, it'd be easier for the Lakers to solve multiple things with just one team rather than several teams. Cause it's like, okay, well, we want, every team wants Dalton Connect. Every team wants the first. Every team wants, Austin Reeves or Rui or whatever. Right. Like, so you can't trade Connect to 3 different teams. You can only trade them to 1. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you can find that one team that solves multiple needs, then do that, right? If you can get a Robert Williams and an Ayton or, whatever, Robert Williams, and I'd actually look at like Kamara and some of these other guys, right? Like I would, if I'm the Lakers and I'm trying to get Robert Williams, I'm not trying to get Robert Williams by himself. I'm trying to get Robert Williams and other pieces, right? Can you get some of their, versatile wings because they have an abundance of, right? Can you maybe get and solve your long-term center option in an Ayton and a Robert Williams? I'm not like super sold on Ayton, but I do think there is a lot of potential still there. I just think he's a guy that just can't get out of his own way. But I digress. Sticking to Robert Williams, right? Like, those are my biggest problems. His health is a concern. Right? Like, when he's healthy, the guy is an absolute tank. The guy is a monster and would be ideal slotted alongside Luka Doncic. No doubt, no ands, ifs, buts about it. Wholeheartedly, go get him if you can. But again, you look at, his career, the most games he's played in a season is 61 games. It's the most he's ever played in one season, 61 games. From the start of his career, 32 games, 29 games, 52 games, 61 games, 35 games, 6 games, 20 games. Played 20 games last year. Right? Now, part of that was they were tanking and stuff like that. Part of that is just, again, he can't stay healthy. Right? And you look at last season, 17.6 minutes per game. So basically backup role minutes. 64.1% from the field on 4 attempts. He did take 0.2 threes, which I thought was kind of funny, and shot 33%. But 2-point range, 3.8%, 65.3% on 2% on 2-point range, 64.7% EFG. Free throw shooting, he was actually 88.2% last year on 1 attempt. The previous year, he was actually 78% on 1.5 attempts. He's a career 1.2 guy and a 68% free throw shooter. But the last 2 years, he's kind of, to be honest, so the 2 years he's averaged 1.5 attempts, which are the most of his career in both of those cases. He actually shot over 70%. So, just something to kind of keep in mind. But rebounding, he averaged 6 rebounds, including 2 offensive rebounds, 1.1 assists, a steal, almost 2 blocks, 1.7 blocks, and 6 points. So off the bench and basically 17 minutes of action. So, backup center action. He was a 6-6 guy, right? With almost 2 blocks per game. I believe bare minimum, he's probably a 10-6 guy, maybe 10-8 guy. If you give him, say 20 minutes a game off the bench, because he'd be playing with Luka, who every play, he's going to be live and in the action because Luka likes that outlet and that lob threat. You don't think that Luka's going to account for at least 2 more field goals, right? I do. So I look at that as hey, I think he'll be much better. Now you look at his per 36. Problem is you probably could never play him per 36, but to kind of give you an idea of what would he be as a full-time starter. Again, I just don't think you'd ever actually be able to do that. Random games here and there, sure, but if I'm the Lakers, again, I'm bringing him in a backup role, and I'm looking to have him play, anywhere from, can you play him 20 minutes a night? Right? Maybe give him an off night here and there to try to keep him healthy. If he does get a little nagging injury or something, maybe, give him an extra day or 2 than he would otherwise, right? That's why I think a guy like a Christian Koloko or Trey Jameson would be very valuable, right? So that way, if one of your centers get the night off, you're not only running one center, right? It's hey, Koloko, you're gonna get 20 minutes tonight type thing. That's kind of how I would look at it. But again, I'd love to have Robert Williams if he could if he could give us 60 to 65 games, that'd be a home run. I just don't know if he can do that, is my problem. But anyway, getting into the per 36. Last season, he would have been 12 points, 12 rebounds, including 4 offensive rebounds, right? He would have been 2.2 assists with 1.5 steals and 3.5 blocks per game. So, the guy is, again, everything that this Lakers team needs. This guy he doesn't shy away. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, right? It's just, but that's also part of why he probably gets injured so regularly. You're talking about a guy that's 6'9" in height. So he's not a true 7-footer, but he has a 7'6" wingspan, right? And it's just, he's 250 pounds. So he's got the size, he's got everything that the Lakers want and need, right? He's got literally everything the Lakers want and need. But again, it's just, he can't stay healthy. If I'm the Lakers, I'd almost rather go and can you get a Day'Ron Sharpe? I think Day'Ron Sharpe would give you a lot of the same production in a backup role off the bench, and he's just more healthier. He's also younger, right? Problem with that is that would, if you pull off a sign and trade, that would hard cap you. So that could cause some issues for the Lakers, but I don't know. I love the idea of Robert Williams. I do. Again, on paper, he is the ideal center. I do wish he was a true 7-footer, but again, he's got the size, the strength, everything that you want. He can bang with Jokic, all these big centers, particularly in the Western Conference. But it's just, I can't get past the guy can't play more than 30 games a season, right? So you're talking about you're trading for a part-time player, and they're going to want assets. They're not just going to trade Robert Williams just for the sake of trading him, right? Like, it's like, oh yeah, we'll just swap Robert Williams with, Gabe Vincent and Shake Milton. Right? They're just not going to do that. It doesn't make sense for them. Right? They might as well just keep him and maybe get a team. So like, what's the value is what it is, right? If you have to trade a first or something like that, or a connect or something, then no, like keep him. Good luck, right? Like lose him for nothing. We'll just sign him next offseason, right? Like I'd just rather do that route. But if you can get him for like a pick swap, because they're like, we'd rather get something than nothing, or if you could if you could trade the 55th pick to get him, right? So if you could do like Gabe and Shake Milton, right? So that way they could just waive Shake Milton, so they immediately clear $3 million off the books, right? And then have the expiring of Gabe Vincent, especially because they're looking to trade several of their guards, so he might make some sense. Or if they want a Kleba, right? Like, hey, here's a Max Kleba, whatever, right? Point is, basically, here's expiring contracts to kind of match salary, and then we'll give you, a second, right? Then fine. If you can get him and it's like, hey, we'd rather have the 55th pick than just lose Robert Williams next season for nothing, right? Or, like I mentioned, I'd rather do like a more expansive deal, right? Can you get, some of these wings that they have, maybe you're getting an Ayton also, right? More expansive package, right? Here's, a 4-for-4 player swap. Here's, connect in the deal. Depending on what it is, maybe you're even giving up the first and, your second, then sure, something like that, fine. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else not, so we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.